We're going to do section 6.1 and 6.2 notes together because they're extremely closely related. So what we're doing now in chapter 6 is we're solving inequalities. And inequalities are expressions that don't have an equal sign. They have a less than or greater than symbol instead. So the main goal for solving these is you still want to get the variable that you're solving for all by itself on one side, and you want to get your numbers on the other side of the inequality symbol, just like solving equations. So to solve them, we're going to solve exactly as you would solve a regular equation. You're going to add or subtract first, and then you're going to multiply or divide. The only thing that's different is that if you multiply or divide by a negative number, then you must flip the symbol to face the other direction. So let's try an example. Okay, in this first example, I'm going to solve for y. So I have 7 plus y is less than 16. I want to get the y by itself, so to move a positive 7, I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. I get y, keep your symbol the same, less than, and 16 minus 7 is 9. That's it. I didn't have to multiply or divide by a negative number, so I don't flip my symbol. I just have y is less than 9. I'm done. Be careful not to change your inequality symbol into an equal sign. This is a mistake that a lot of people make, so be careful to keep your inequality symbol as an inequality symbol. Don't make it an equal sign. Now let's try a few more examples. In the second example, m minus 11 is greater than 4. I'm trying to get the m by itself. So to undo subtraction, I'm going to add 11 to both sides. And I get m is greater than 15. My m is already by itself, so I'm done. In the next example, it's a little more complicated. Change my color here. Let's go with that one. Okay. So I still want to get the x by itself. So when you have more than one number on the same side with the variable, you want to move the addition or subtraction first. You don't have to do this, but it helps to avoid fractions. So if you can add or subtract first, it'll just make it a lot easier. So I'm going to move plus 8 by subtracting 8 from both sides. I'm left with 2x is greater than or equal to 3. And now my last step is to undo the 2 times x, so the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2, and I'm going to get x is greater than or equal to 3/2, or if you want to write it as a mixed number, it would be 1.5 or 1.5. Again, I did divide, but I divided by a positive 2, so I don't have to flip my inequality symbol. It stays facing the same way it was. Okay, let's try some more. This next example is just like the last one. I have 2 numbers over by the variable. So first I'm going to undo the addition by subtracting 12 from both sides. I have negative 3b is less than or equal to 4. Now I have to undo this multiplication, so I'm going to divide by negative 3. Now we're dividing by a negative number, which means I have to flip my inequality symbol to face the other way. So now it's going to be b is greater than or equal to, and you can leave it as negative 4/3, or again, if you want to make it mixed, you can do that too. But if anytime you multiply or divide by a negative number, you have got to flip your inequality symbol. The equal to sign stays right there. We don't make that go away. That stays as part of your answer. It's just the inequality symbol, greater than or less than, that flips. Okay? Let's try a few more. Okay, now we're going to take it one step further. Now we're going to graph our answer set on a number line. So first thing you need to do is solve the inequality just like we've been doing. Now you're going to put a circle over the number that you get for your answer. You're going to put a closed circle like this. If you have a line underneath your inequality symbol, if you see greater than or equal to or less than or equal to. And you're going to put an open circle if you don't have the line, because the line means that the number is included. So if the number is included, you need to fill in the circle. If the number is not included, you leave the circle empty. And then you draw an arrow from the circle to the end of the number line. Make it as long as it needs to be to get all the way to the end of the number line. You're going to draw your arrow to the right if your answer winds up being x is greater than some number, meaning the inequality symbol is eating the variable. So if the variable is bigger, then your arrow is going to point to the right. And I say it this way because sometimes your number looks, or your inequality symbol looks like this. If x or your variable winds up on the right side, as long as the inequality symbol is still eating the variable, your arrow goes to the right. And then if the number is bigger, if it's eating the number, or x is less than the number, then your arrow is going to go to the left. So again, if it was flipped and your variable was on the right, as long as it's eating the number is bigger, which means x is smaller, and smaller numbers go to the left. So let's try one. We're going to solve this inequality, and then we're going to graph our solution. So to solve b minus 8 is greater than negative 3, I'm going to add 8 to both sides. And I get b is greater than 5. Now I don't have a line under my inequality symbol, so I'm going to put an open circle over the 5, and it's eating the variable. b is greater than 5, so where are the numbers greater than 5? Those numbers are to the right. So you draw your arrow all the way to the end of the number line. And that's it, you're done. So let's try another example. Okay, last example, and then we're done with these two sections. So I'm going to solve this inequality. I've got a lot of numbers happening here, but my goal is still to get the variable by itself. So to clear out the side that the m is on, first I'm going to subtract 19, and I get negative 2m is less than or equal to 15 minus 19 is negative 4. Now I have to divide both sides by negative 2. I'm dividing by a negative, so remember to flip your inequality symbol. Negative 4 divided by negative 2 is positive 2. So now, to graph this solution, I have a line underneath my inequality symbol, so I'm going to put a closed circle over the 2, and m is greater than 2. The numbers that are greater than are to the right. So I draw my arrow all the way to the right. And that's it. 6-1 is like the first example. You have one step to solve your inequality, and 6-2 is like this example where you have more than one step. It's the same idea, it's just whether or not you have one step or more than one steps. So that's section 6-1 and 6-2.